In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a drawdown kill switch for your strategy on NinjaTrader. In this sample, there will be no coding required because we're using Strategy Builder. A drawdown kill switch is something that is going to help exit your position once a PNL profit limit is reached and it retraces a set amount from that highest PNL point. This can be very helpful when capturing profit and not limiting yourself to a set profit amount if the price keeps moving in your direction. As always, this is not trading advice. This is not a strategy on its own. I do not recommend trading this on a live account by itself. This is just a sample for Strategy Builder meant to be used with your own strategy. I will show you where to add your own long and your short logic. In the case something is not working with your script, I recommend downloading this sample from either our website or on Discord and compare both scripts so you can match up where something might be different. And for those that do not want to go through all of these steps, the Predator X also has this option built in with the click of a button. In most cases, you can convert your Strategy Builder strategy and have the Predator manage that trade with much better order handling and a ton of easy to enable customization as well. To learn more about what the Predator is, please watch this video. But with that, we're moving on. All right, jumping right into it, we're first going to open up our Strategy Builder. To do that, we go to our control panel, select new, and select Strategy Builder. This page will come up. We're going to create a new strategy. Next, and we can name this whatever we want. So I'll do drawdown trail kill switch example. And once you have your name, just select next. Now you have your calculate method. And this is just how often your strategy is going to perform calculations. So for example, on bar close means that anytime a bar closes, it's just going to perform all those calculations for our strategy once. In this example, because we're keeping track of real-time PNL, I do recommend using on each tick or on price change. This is just going to make sure that it keeps calculating anytime there's a price change in the market. On each tick means anytime there's any sort of tick, it's going to be a little bit more CPU intensive. You can use that if you want, but for me, I'm using on price change. Then I'm going to select next. Then in this section, we are going to use the custom series. What a custom series is it's very similar to a regular variable, except the information for a series is stored within a bar itself. The reason we need a custom series when it comes to Strategy Builder is because we are very limited to certain calculations that we need to do in order to get our perfect drawdown PNL. With the custom series, we are able to perform those calculations on Strategy Builder. So what do we need? We need something that's going to keep track of the total PNL, something that's going to help us reset our PNL when a new day starts, then something that's going to help us keep track of the unrealized PNL. That way we get those real-time updates. And finally, because this is a trailing kill switch example, we need something that's going to help us trail our kill switch limit. So how do we do that? Let's go to add. And the first one, I'm just going to name total PNL. And I'm going to leave it as a double because we're working with decimals. Next, I'm going to do one for the new PNL. So just name it new PNL or whatever you want. Again, we're working with decimals. These are all going to be doubles. Next up is our unrealized PNL. So unrealized PNL. Again, that's a double. And for the final one, we need something that's going to help us keep track of our trail drawdown amount. So I'm just going to name this one trail series. And again, just leave it as a double. Once we have all of these, let's move on to the next page. And we have our inputs and variables. Your inputs are also variables, but the user can customize these within the properties. So things like your final profit target, your stop loss, position size, even where you want to set your kill switches or your drawdown amount, you can select that right within these inputs. So I'm going to say profit target. And I'm just going to do a simple tick profit target. You guys can change this to whatever fits your strategy. So default, I think I'm going to go with something, I don't know, let's do 600 ticks. I just wanted to show on the chart so you can see how it sets the profit and how it sets the stop. But I also don't want it to interfere with any of the examples we're showing today. So again, change this to whatever works for your strategy. And I'm doing the same for our stop loss. And this one can also be set to 600. Next, I'm going to set our position size. So position quantity. And this one default, I'm just going to set it at 10. Again, this can be whatever you want. This is not really necessary for this example, but I'm just showing so it'll be easier to build your own strategy based on this template. But now this is where we actually define our kill switch amounts. So for the first one, I want to say kill switch profit. This one I'm going to turn into a double because this is going to be a PNL amount. And this is when we hit this profit amount, our trailing kill switch is going to start. So as we head into profit, our trailing kill switch is just going to trail that amount until the price retraces and hits our kill switch. So our profit kill switch isn't actually going to trigger any trades. It's just going to trigger our stop kill switch to move up and start trailing. So this one, I'm just going to put it, let's say, yeah, let's do 300. So when we hit 300 PNL, that's when our kill switch starts. Next, I'm going to define how far I want that kill switch to trail after our profit kill switch is hit. So the kill switch profit is here. Our trail PNL drawdown is going to be here. And this is just the distance between those two. So I'm just going to say trail PNL. You guys can name this whatever you want. And I'm going to set this to a negative number. So I'm going to set this to negative 200. And because we're working with negatives, we have to get rid of that minimum. So again, this is just when it hits this 300 mark, it's going to bring our kill switch up to $200 underneath that highest PNL point. And don't worry, I'm going to show examples of how this works. And then in case we do not hit our initial target kill switch, we also need a kill switch in case the price just goes against us right away. So this one is just going to be kill switch loss. And again, this is a double. The default, I'm going to put this at negative 300. And the minimum, again, negative numbers, we have to get rid of that minimum. And the trail PNL, I forgot to switch that to a double. So let's just change that real quick. And that changed everything. So make sure everything is set properly with that trail PNL. So double, negative 200, no minimum. And that looks much better. All right, so we have everything for our user inputs. Let's go down to our variables. And these are the same thing, except these values are going to keep getting updated as our strategy progresses. The user is not going to be able to define these from the properties. So these are going to keep track of things like our daily PNL, where our new kill switch PNL is set, and also our highest PNL recorded. Things like that, this is what's going to help us keep track of. So for the first one, I'm going to add a daily PNL, and this is again going to be a double. Default can be anything that you want. I just like to leave these at 1. They're going to change as our strategy progresses. Next, I'm going to say trail limit variable. This is going to be used to help keep track of our kill switch PNL as it keeps moving up. So again, this is a double, and default can be whatever. Now, I also want to keep track of the highest daily PNL recorded. That way we can set our drawdown amount from that number. So I'm just going to say highest PNL. Again, this is a double. And last but not least is going to be a Boolean. And this is going to trigger once our kill switch is hit from either the profit side or from the stop side. Once this kill switch is activated, it's going to take us out of our trades. It's not going to allow us to take any new trades until a new day starts. Again, don't worry, I'm going to show examples of all of this. So the type is going to be a bool, and I want to set this one to false. All right, once we have that, go to next, and we have our conditions and actions page. This is where we actually build out our strategy. The first thing that we need is a way to reset all of our variables anytime a new day starts. So as your strategy is progressing, you're taking trades, maybe your kill switch gets hit, you want to stop trading for that day. But you don't want to stop trading forever. You want to wait until a new day starts. and then your strategy will start all over again. So in the first set, we're going to do that. We're just going to reset anything that may have occurred in the previous day. So how I do that in the conditions and actions, I like to go to MISC and I scroll all the way down to first bar of session. I want to say is equals to MISC and select the true. Then I also want to go back into MISC, scroll all the way to is first tick of bar. Same thing, I want to say if that condition is true, then we can execute the following. So the first thing I'm going to do here, go to MISC, and we're going to go to set total PNL, and our total PNL on bars to go 0 is going to be equals to strategy, and we're going to take the total realized PNL. And this is just going to make sure that this custom series is equals to the total PNL anytime a new day starts. And we're also going to do the same thing for MISC, set new PNL, and the exact same thing, we want to make sure this is equals to the total PNL. And I'll show you why we do this for both of them in a later set as our strategy starts progressing. So same thing, realized PNL, hit OK. Next up is, again, I want to go back into MISC and our daily PNL. I want to set this to 0. This is what's going to keep track of our daily PNL. So at the start of any new day, I always want to make sure this value is set to 0. Then in case any of our kill switches got activated, I want to make sure that those also get reset. So set kill switch activated. I'm going to leave it unchecked. This means it's going to be false. It's going to reset. Now we also have to make sure all of our trailing values get reset to where they're supposed to be. So we reset those values by going back into MISC, our trail limit variable. This is going to get set to our kill switch amount. So our kill switch loss. So basically as our PNL starts moving higher and higher, our trailing kill switch variable is going to change. So anytime we start a new day, that kill switch needs to get reset back to the stop loss value. And then we're going to go back into MISC one more time, and we're going to select the trail series. And our trail series, that is going to be equals to the user input. So that is going to be the trail PNL. Now, the main reason we're not using the user input is we need to do a calculation with this number. As a variable, we cannot do that with Strategy Builder, so it has to be a custom series. So that is why we're updating this value to a custom series, is just so we can do that calculation. Now, for the next part, you don't have to do this, but I like to be able to see when a new day starts. So I like to do a set candle background color, and I'm going to say, let's do a mint cream. That should be a good color. So that's just going to paint the background, and it's going to allow us to see when a new day starts and when all of our values get reset. Once we have all of that, let's move on to set number 2. In set number 2, it's going to be the complete opposite of set number 1, in terms that set number 1, we only update once anytime a new day starts. Set number 2, we're going to update any other time. So from market open until market close, this is going to constantly keep updating. This is going to help us keep track of that live PNL. So I'm going to go to the upper left-hand corner, change this to if any, and then I'm going to copy these two variables from set number 1 and paste them right into set number 2. And then in set number 2, I'm just going to change these statements into a false. So if any of these are false, so if it happens to not be the first tick of the bar, or it's not the first bar of the session, then it's going to execute our code. So basically anytime we're not opening. So in this section, we're going to go into our custom series, so MISC, set total PNL, This one is always going to keep track of your total PNL within the strategy. So strategy, realized PNL. Now here's the difference between the total PNL and the new PNL. So MISC, new PNL. Our new PNL is going to be equals to, go back into MISC, custom series, and we're going to select new PNL again, but this time Barsago 1. This means that anytime a new bar opens, it's going to take the same values from the previous bar and that it's going to apply it to that new bar. So basically, any PNL that we set at the beginning of the day, that is going to be true for the remainder of that day for that new PNL. So the total keeps track of the total current. The new is just going to keep track of the total at the beginning of the day. And this is going to be very important for the calculation coming right up. But first, we need to keep track of any unrealized PNL as well. So MISC, set unrealized PNL, and this is going to be equals to strategy, unrealized PNL. Now we have everything for our main daily PNL calculation. So go to MISC, we're going to set the daily PNL, and this is going to be equals, and we're going to go to MISC, custom series, and we're going to set the total PNL. In the offset, we're going to go to plus, we're going to set, again, we go to MISC, custom series, and from here, we're going to select the unrealized PNL, and we're going to subtract, again, go to MISC, and this time we're going to select custom series, and we're going to select the new PNL. And we're just going to hit OK on all of those. So all that we're doing here is adding up our realized and unrealized PNL and subtracting it from our new day PNL. So all this calculation is doing is it's helping us keep track of our current daily PNL by utilizing the total current realized PNL, the daily PNL at the start of the day, and any unrealized PNL as well. We combine all of those and we get that daily PNL. And now I'm just going to go to set number 1. And remember this trail series equals trail PNL. I'm just going to copy this one and I'm going to paste it into this set as well. I just want to keep updating this to this same value anytime a new bar opens. Now, just to get a little bit fancier, we are a bit limited when it comes to strategy builder and drawing text on the chart, but just as a visual, I want to have something that's going to keep track of our highest PNL, our daily PNL, and also our kill switch. So I'm going to add, go to drawing, and we're going to scroll all the way down to fixed text. Here you can select the position, so bottom left, I like the bottom right. The tag doesn't matter as much. This can be honestly whatever you want. I like to keep this as simple as possible because we're going to use it in multiple sets. I'm just going to say PNL text. So any other drawing object with the same tag is going to overwrite this text. But what actually matters, what shows up on the screen, is the text. So here I'm going to say something like highest PNL, and I'm just going to separate these with a colon, and then I'm going to add. And for this one, I'm going to go to our user variable, our highest PNL. And don't worry, we're going to set this variable later. But let me split the string. This is the actual text, not the variable. So I just added a space. The variable, make sure that gets set to the actual user variable. Then I'm going to add. Then I want to also display our current PNL. So I'm just going to add a space, current PNL, add, and I'm going to say user variable. That is going to be our daily PNL. Next is going to be our drawdown kill switch amount. So I'm just going to say something like kill switch amount. Yeah, that should be okay. So capital. And then I'm going to add, set this one again, user variable. And this is going to be the trail limit variable. Once we have that, let's hit OK, and we should have everything that we need to move on to set number 3. Set number 3 is going to be used for when our PNL hits our profit kill switch target. This is going to be what starts our trailing kill switch. So how we do that, we go to add, user variables, daily PNL. Once this is greater or equal to, and we're going to say our user input and our kill switch profit. Next, I only want to update this set anytime our PNL makes a new high. So how we do that, we go to add, MISC, we're going to custom series. We are going to select the trail series, and then we're going to add an offset. And from here, we're going to select our daily PNL. So if both of these added are greater than our current user variable, trail limit variable, only then can we update this set and start trailing our drawdown kill switch. So for the actions part of set number 3, I'm first going to copy again this trail series equals trail PNL from set number 2, and I'm going to paste it right as our first condition. Now I'm going to set our new trailing drawdown amount. So I go to MISC and we set trail limit variable, and this is going to be equals to MISC. We're going to do our custom series, and this is going to be our trail series, and we are just going to be adding our daily PNL. So user variable daily PNL. So our trail series is equals to our trail PNL. So if we go back, our trail PNL is that negative number. That's the distance that we want to trail by. So what we're doing is adding a negative number, which actually creates a negative. So we're just taking the current highest PNL and subtracting or adding a negative number, and that's going to set our distance. And then after, I'm just going to keep track of that highest number just so we get a visual on the chart. So set highest PNL, and this one I'm just going to set it to the daily PNL because this set is only going to get triggered once anytime a new high is made, so it should only record that highest PNL. And then I'm going to go back to set number 2, this draw text. I'm going to copy this and paste it right in set number 3. All right, let's move on to set number 4. This is where we actually trigger our kill switch. So because this example doesn't have a final profit kill switch, it's just going to wait until we hit that high and then retrace from that highest point. We're going to say when our daily PNL is less or equal to our user variable, trail limit variable. Again, this is what keeps track of that drawdown amount. And only if our kill switch is equals to MISC false, so it has not been activated yet, then only then are we going to set a few orders. We're going to say exit long position, our quantity, we're going to strategy, and we're going to set it to the current position size. That way we get the entire position size. Signal name, this can say kill switch, long, or whatever you want. You could add an entry signal if you want. This is just going to be a generic exit everything, so I'm just going to leave that blank. And I'm also going to do the same in case we are in a short trade. It doesn't really matter. It's going to execute this set regardless of direction. It's just going to be based on the PNL itself. So order management, exit short position, and kill switch short. The quantity, again, this is for the current position size. And now I want to set my kill switch bool to true, and this is going to prevent any new trades in the future. So MISC, set kill switch, and now we're going to check it, and now it's going to turn true. And this same draw text, I'm going to paste it in here as well. Now we're going to move on to set number 5 and 6. This is where you actually create your order entry conditions This can be modified to anything that you want. Guys, this is the area that you would configure for your own strategy. I'm going to show how to enter longs, how to enter shorts. Again, this is not trading advice. I'm just doing these as an example for your own strategy. Please guys, this is where you would configure your sets to whatever your entry conditions are. If you start modifying any of the other sets, I can't really help you much there because that would all be very dependent on your own strategy. So I do suggest sticking to this template. Again, you can download this for free on Discord or on our website, but this is what I recommend for this template in order to make sure it works for your strategy. All right, set number 5, we're going to set our long conditions. And what I like to do before we enter any trade, I like to make sure we are in a flat position. So current market position is equals to strategy, market position, flat. Next, we have to make sure our kill switch has not been activated yet. So we go user variables, kill switch activated is equals to misc, false. And then I'm going to create a group. I'm going to change to if all, and I'm going to name this long conditions change this. So when you're building your own strategy based on this template, for the most part, you would change whatever is in this group. I'm just naming it so it's a little bit easier to see. But for this, I'm going to keep it very, very basic. This is definitely not profitable. So do not load this on a live account and expect it to make money because it will not. So close, greater or equal, and I'm just going to say the high of the previous bar. So when the current price breaks above the high of the previous bar, we are going to enter long. And just for an example, so we get a bit better visual for the sake of the video, I'm only going to take real-time trades. You guys don't have to put this in. Again, I'm just doing this for the video so we get a visual of the PNL going up and retracing taking us out. I go to misc, current state is equals to misc, and I go down to state, and I'm going to say real time. So once both of these conditions are true, then we can submit our order down here. So here, I'm just going to say order management, enter long. Our quantity is going to be our user input and our position quantity, or whatever you want to set. It really doesn't matter. Change this to whatever works best for you. The signal name, I'm just going to leave that blank. I'm just going to use a generic stop and profit, so it doesn't really matter too much. But I'm just going to make a copy of set number 5, and I'm going to change this to the short side. So it still needs to be a flat position. Our kill switch still needs to be false, but I'm just going to change this to short. Our entry condition is going to be when the close of the current price is less or equal to the low of the previous bar. That's all our short condition is. And I'm going to change this to an enter short position. But same thing, we need to make sure the quantity is set to our position quantity user input. Now that we have all of that, I'm just going to create a generic stop and target. That way we can see it on the chart, and it should hopefully help you build out your own strategy. So first I'm going to add profit target, and I'm going to change this to ticks, and the value is going to be user input profit target. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but for our stop loss. So ticks, the value is going to be our stop loss value. That is all we need. Let's hit that compile button and see how it works on a chart. So here I have our blank chart. Let's load up our new strategy. So right click on the chart, go to strategies, and we're going to scroll down to our drawdown trail kill switch example. From here in the properties, you can see our profit target, stop loss, position quantity. You can customize all of these. Same with when we want our trailing kill switch to activate, the distance we want our kill switch to trail by, and our initial kill switch amount. So again, configure these however you want. So let's hit apply, and we're going to enable. All right, once we hit enable, you can see the white line. That is the start of our new day. So 6 p.m. Eastern. If we look down at the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see our highest PNL is 1. That is our default amount for that value. It's only going to update once our profit kill switch has been triggered, and then it's going to show that highest PNL after that point. So don't worry about it saying 1. Again, when that kill switch is activated, it will start updating. Our current PNL is currently 0, and our kill switch amount, -300. That's what we have our stop loss kill switch set to. So let's hit play and see how this works. So once we break above the high of the previous bar, we are going to submit an order, or below the previous bar as well. All right, so here we broke above the previous bar's high. We submitted our order. If we scroll out, we should see our profit and our stop. I think those are split up to 2 different orders. So there's your total amount for 10. So that all seems to be working. And then we can see our current PNL is set to 1.5. Again, we are limited with Strategy Builder when it comes to formatting prices. If we were hard coding this, we could make it display only the currency. So it would only show the 150 instead of all of these decimals. Again, limited with Strategy Builder. So we kind of have to live with that. But let's keep playing it. And we are waiting until we hit $300 into profit, because that is when our kill switch gets activated. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. All right, so here we hit that $300 mark. You can see the highest PNL recorded. We were going a little fast, but it was 351.5. So then we are trailing our kill switch $200 from that highest PNL. So now our kill switch amount is set to 151.5. Our current PNL is 296.5. So if our current daily PNL retraces and hits this 151.5, it's going to take us out of our trade. It's going to submit a market order. So again, just going to keep playing it. And we'll see if we make new highs. So as we make new highs, you can see our kill switch amount keeps trailing up with it. So now when our current PNL hits this kill switch amount, that is when we exit our trade. Right there, our current PNL went to 355.5, which was under that 356. Takes us out of our trade immediately with a market order. Keep in mind, guys, market orders are not a guaranteed price. So you could end up with a little bit more or a little bit less from that kill switch amount. So just bear that in mind. But as we keep going, it's no longer going to allow new trades until a new day starts. So I'm just going to keep playing it. And in the case you do want to start taking new trades, because it's set to the real time, you can just disable it, re-enable it. Your PNL is going to get set to the strategy PNL. It's not your account PNL. So everything gets reset back to 0. So let's see if we get into another trade. So again, when your current PNL hits this amount, and we hit 502 into profit already. So our kill switch drawdown is 302.5. So let's speed it up again. The PNL retraced a little bit, hit that 302. It must have gone up a little bit on the same tick. Sometimes, again, like I said, it'll be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but it will take you out of that trade when that PNL retraces back to that amount. All right, I'm just going to show a bit of a different example for the short side. And here we just adjusted the settings a little bit, again, to show a few more examples. So here we are on the short side. So we are waiting for a $500 PNL kill switch. So once it hits 500 into profit, it's going to start trailing that kill switch. All right, so here you can see our highest PNL was 533, and we are trailing our kill switch by 400. So our kill switch amount is 133. Once that current PNL retraces that amount, it's going to take us out of our position. So as we start going higher and higher in our PNL, it's just going to keep trailing that kill switch. So then the price retraced $400 to hit that 503, filled a little bit higher. That's better for us, but that's how it works. It's just a way to capture even more profit so you don't get taken out at a specific profit PNL. It's just going to allow you to capture more and more profit. All right, and here we have a brand new day. You can see all our values reset, or maybe they didn't. So let's take a closer look. So our highest PNL is 847. That's not right. Current PNL 418. That seems okay. But our kill switch was 447, which something seems to be wrong. I don't think everything was getting reset. So let's open up our strategy builder and see if we can figure this out quickly. All right, so it seems to be a problem with something not resetting. So let's go to our set number 1, because that is where we reset everything at the beginning of the day. So what it seems to be doing is our current PNL is supposed to get reset back to 0 when we start the new day. But for some reason, it's just continuing on with that same PNL. So how we constantly update that daily PNL is by using the new PNL on set number 2. We always equal that new value to the previous bar's value. So what is happening here is we set it to 0, but then it immediately gets that PNL from the previous bar, which was in the previous day, and that is what it starts using. So what we need to do is copy this new PNL on set number 1. We're going to paste it, but we're going to adjust bars to go 1, and that way the current bar's value and the previous bar's value get reset to the same value. And I also want to make sure that our highest PNL also gets reset back to 0. So I'm going to MISC, set highest PNL, and I'm just going to set that to 0. And let's just compile that and run this one more time. I'm just going back to the exact same spot from our previous example. And I just want to run it, make sure everything is working properly, and then we'll cut the video.
Order submitted.
So here again, we're waiting until our current PNL goes back and hits that kill switch amount. And now we're out of the trade. Let's fast forward to a new day.
Order submitted.
All right, new day started, and now our current daily PNL gets reset back to 0. That seems to match up with our unrealized PNL. And our highest PNL, again, back to 0 until we reach that new threshold, and our kill switch amount at that negative 500. And now we're no longer getting taken out right at the start of a new day because we reset everything properly. So let me just speed this up until we reach a kill switch.
Order canceled.
All right, so here, unfortunately, we didn't make any profit. It just went straight to our lost kill switch for that negative 500 amount. So our PNL for the day was negative 567, and that is obviously below our negative 500. You can see our total PNL, because it's still including the previous day, it's at negative 51.5. But because it is a new day, we're just counting that daily PNL. So I'm gonna cut the video here. I hope you guys found this example useful. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments, let me know on Discord. But as always, take care, enjoy.